and welcome to another installment of Mindful Connections. I'm going to take a look today at the path and the journey that we can take towards professional and personal fulfillment. I wrote a book several years ago that is called Destiny's Way that outlines that path, but it was coming from more of a spiritual dynamic. I think what I want to do now is really focus on the psychological aspects of that, the relational aspects of that, to bring it around also to include mental health. Since that is primarily where my focus is these days, I want to make sure that I include those concepts and bring that all together. There were several different steps that I believe a person can go on to actually reach their path of fulfillment. So I'm going to be outlining those in this particular video as an introduction. And then what I'll do is also in future videos, break it down for each individual concept and review some of what that looks like so that you can determine what path you're on and also where you may continue to have steps to take to reach the destiny and the fulfillment that you're looking for. A lot of the information that I provided previously was based off of where I was at the time and where I was in my spiritual journey. Since a lot of that has changed, I do want to make sure that I provide some updated information and concepts, and again, incorporate the other information from my psychological background that I feel like also applies and can be very helpful for people. The first step, in my opinion, is often one that is associated with some type of separation. So, whether that's a separation from your old belief system or it can be a physical separation, sometimes there is a distance that is needed from the place where you grew up or a current employer. Not saying to quit your job, but sometimes it is necessary to consider how you're going to take your leave or to separate from an environment that maybe isn't seeing you as valuable or where you feel like you can't fully stretch your wings like you would want to. There is a saying that talks about being a big fish in a little pond until you kind of go upstream and make your way to a larger body of water where you can grow. And so that's why that separation becomes necessary. It can either be initiated by you, where it's something that you take proactive measures in order to have that separation occur. But for some people, that separation comes as a result of some type of inconvenience. And so it can look like what is happening is working against you, but it could be working for you in order to get you closer to your destiny by putting you in an uncomfortable situation and a new environment to help you grow. The next step is going to be incorporating some type of wise counsel from mentors or other people who are more experienced than what you are in the area where you are attempting to get into or where you end up as a result of that previous inconvenience that we talked about. So what you'll want to look for is someone who can provide you with some type of information that would be beneficial to you. You may be put in a position to actually help them out as well and to serve them in some type of way that is conducive to that relationship being one that you can learn from. We know of several people who have been in mentorship roles who have helped people through that kind of education that they get from that one-on-one attention. So this can be somebody that you potentially hire, like some type of consultant, or it can be someone that you come across in your career field. And it may not be anyone that you're actually in contact with directly. You may learn from books or autobiography, so other people's stories that provide you with some sort of insight into how you can get where you're trying to go in your professional or personal arena. Now, once you have this mentorship or consultant or books or videos in place, it's going to be important to actually follow through with the process that they give you. So just like I'm providing you with a step-by-step process that you may be going through, there's going to be other people who, because of their previous experience, they're able to lay out some different things that you can do to help make your road a little bit easier. So the next step for me was implementing the instructions that you receive. You're going to get a set of instructions, whatever those may look like. You're going to get clues as to what you can do to do some things to move yourself forward. When you have that information, it's important to really value that and to begin to take action towards completing the different steps so that you can travel along that path that you're trying to get to your destiny on. At this next stage, you spent a lot of time getting to know those instructions and really working on implementing them. What may happen next is that you're going to need some time for introspection. It's a time to go within, and that results in a period of silence. This silence may also be an external silence, so not just something where you're reflecting inwards, but also where you don't hear much in terms of instructions because you've been provided with them already. So your mentorship may get more quiet. You may be expected to kind of step up more and take more action on your own, and you begin to kind of arise to the occasion. But it may also be a time where you're having to shut down in things. Maybe you're keeping things more to yourself during this period just because you don't want a lot of judgment. That can be a safe thing to do, just depending on what your support network looks like as you're going through some of these transitions and changes. You may not feel comfortable letting everybody know what's going on with you during that period until you have more clarity. It can often create a sense of doubt in certain environments when a lot of people have information about what you're doing, and maybe you're still figuring some of that out. So it is okay to have a period of silence to self reflect, to further decide what your plans need to look like, and to really process all of the information that you've been given and working on implementing the instructions that you've been provided from your mentorship or from the people that you're really relying on to give you some counsel and direction. This next step is focused on your endorsement. So you've done what you've needed to do during that period of silence. You really integrated the information that you've had access to. You've been able now to see for yourself a clear direction and where you want to go. And what happens is that somebody will typically come in, or a situation will come in to validate you and to help to elevate you to whatever your next level is supposed to be. So this period of endorsement is really important because it allows almost like another open door to happen where you can begin to walk through in the direction that you're supposed to go in and feel accomplished in achieving some of your goals. Now, this is the moment that you've been waiting for. The next step is typically the one where people are going to get the most excited because there is a feeling of success. And that's what this step is focused on, is that time when it feels like everything is coming together. You've had some sort of means of things actually working out to receive some maybe backup from someone that is some type of endorsement where they're acknowledging that you've done a good job. This could be a time when you actually get a new role where things start to happen more quickly for you. You're acknowledged in some way in your efforts. And this period of success, it feels really good. And ultimately, what I believe and what I talk about in Destiny's Way is how this period of success isn't just for you. When people see that you were able to branch out, pursue your goals and your dreams and actually achieve them, it gives them a sense of what they can work for as well, and kind of strengthens their own ability to see their value, their authenticity as something that is worth going for. So even though you're celebrating your personal success in this step, and there's been some type of endorsement to help bring you to that point, the real success is in helping others see that there is a possibility of a similar thing happening for them too. As I've outlined, success is not just for the sake of success. Usually it's going to be for some sort of unifying factor. This could be unifying of ideas, concepts, or groups. In the original text that I wrote, the focus was on unifying groups and having them have some type of leadership established. But for our purposes and what I'll look at in the psychological and relational context, it's going to be about bringing people together for better mental health and also bringing people together to have stronger and healthier relationships. But that is ultimately what we would see as a result of someone having some type of success. Like I mentioned, a person is going to be able to establish themselves as a light themselves, or be able to then take on that role of mentor and maybe mentor other people and help other people and guide them in some way. It doesn't always have to be a formal mentorship. You could just be a source of information for others because of your own experiences. And that will in that way begin to help things grow for other people and to help them find their path and their destiny as well. So it brings in that sense of community that we often talk about but don't often see. In Destiny's Way, these steps are not just meant to be a roadmap, and they're not meant to be linear. These steps are meant to be a way of looking at life to see where your resilience shows up. It's a way of identifying that community is needed and that connection is important. It's a way of recognizing that your mental health does need to be taken care of, that self care is important, and having those moments of silence. So, all of those different concepts can be intertwined, and that's what I hope to break down even further in the series that I'm going to be doing on Destiny's Way, and just further elaborating upon each of those steps and giving you an opportunity to really see where you are in life and what is still needed for you. And if there is a path for you to get where you're wanting to go, what steps you may be able to take to get there. Again, thank you for joining me for another installment of Mindful Connections, this time being focused on Destiny's Way and really working through those steps where you can lead to your destiny. If you have felt inspired by any of this information, please like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, I hope you are able to live inspired.